All right, guys, this right here is the Sony 28-70 f2 G Master lens. And guys, I can't tell you how long I've been wanting to make this review. We've got a lot to cover and we're going to get right into it. And for the majority of the shooting, it is going to be filmed on the 28-70. But before we do, I want to show you for comparison the 24-70 f2.8 Mark II. So as you can see, the difference isn't massive. This one's obviously a little heavier. This one's a little lighter, but we're going to get into it. We're going to go into detail. Let's go. All right, guys, we're back and we are now filming on the Sony 28-70 f2 at f2. Now, guys, there is so much to talk about this lens. Originally, when I was looking at purchasing it, I looked at the price. It freaked me out. It's over 4,000 Australian dollars, guys. It is not cheap by any means. I heard another reviewer call it the 28-70 GM got money lens because you need quite a bit of money to afford this lens. And I got to say that statement is pretty accurate. However, I have been using it for the past couple of months and I've got to say, I absolutely love this lens. This is honestly now my go-to lens for everything, guys. And when I say everything, I mean everything. For the most part, this was my workhorse. This is the 24-70 f2.8, the Mark II, because for me, it's always been about lighter setups. I've got my Sony a7C II here, and the setup just makes sense. I never thought that I would get the 28-70 for a few reasons. One of the main reasons was because of the weight. It's obviously a big, girthy lens, but to be honest, it's not as heavy as you may think. It looks girthy, it looks heavy, but it weighs in about 930 grams, only about 30 grams more than the original 24-70 Mark I, which was a hefty lens as well. And this is only 30 grams heavier, so that's a manageable weight, unlike the Canon 28-70, which is like 1.35 kilos, which was too much. At the time when I had Canon, I got it, and I immediately regretted it, took it back, and I ended up with the RF 24-70 f2.8, which I loved. But this is an exception. Incredible, incredible weight. For its size, honestly, guys, I am stoked. It is a GM lens, so you get that sharpness, you get the quality, and they've managed to keep the weight down, which is a big win in my books. Now, I want to talk about the filter threading. The filter thread on this is 86mm. Because it is an f2, it needs a larger diameter, I guess, in that sense. So it is 86 instead of the standard 82 on most lenses like this one and the 16-35 f2.8 Mark II. These are both 82mm filters. So on this, it is an 86mm. But here's the thing. You can easily buy UV filters now at 86mm very easily on Amazon and your normal stores. They got Hoya, K&F. There are a lot of options, so that's not a problem at all. It is a little bit more expensive, but it's definitely worth getting to protect your lens. Secondly, one thing I noticed was you can get a step down from 86 to 82, which will still allow you to shoot on the ND filters. Like, for example, if you had the Peter McKinnon ones, like the 2 to 5 stop, which I have, the Mark II, you'll still be able to use that. And there's zero vignetting when you're in the video mode. I guess it's because it's at 28mm, which is a little bit longer than the 24. However, on photo, you may see slight vignetting, but it's not anything terrible to say like it's too much or anything like that. So that is a plus. So I've kept my filters, which has worked really well. I've got a step down ring as well, 86 to 82, and it works really well for that sense. Now, going back to the price, it is an expensive lens, guys. 4,000 Australian dollars. I ended up paying 4,100. And the reason I paid that little bit more was because I got extended warranty. So I have 5-year warranty on this lens. I want to look after my stuff, so that was really important for me. But yeah, you're looking at about an average of 4,000 Australian dollars for this lens. Much more expensive than my Sony a7C II, and pretty much almost on par like with an a7S III almost, like especially if you buy one used, it's actually more expensive to buy this lens. Now, there's a lot to talk about. And I want to mention why I've decided for the meantime to keep the 24-70 f2.8. Now, the reason I've decided to keep this is sometimes I want a more nimble setup where I just want to go lighter and I might not need the f2 and I just need that range of 24-70. That's one of the reasons I kept this. Now, am I going to keep it long term? I still haven't decided. Because to be honest, since I've bought the 28-70, I haven't used this at all, which is crazy because this used to live on my lens on my camera 90% of the time. That's how much I use this lens. That's how much I loved it. This was my workhorse. Now that 28-70, is my new workhorse. Now, here's the thing. A lot of the people that review this lens talk about like weddings in particular or portraits. I do a little bit more than that. So I do weddings, I do portraits, I do like corporate, commercial, branding. This lens has been used for all that, even interview setups, talking heads. You're going to see that throughout this video. And I absolutely love it. That f2 is beautiful, guys. Now, in terms of image quality between this and the 24-70 f2.8, I didn't notice a whole lot. I think the sharpness are both on par together, but this, where it really shines for me, is having that f2. That's one extra stop than the f2.8. And in my opinion, it's more of an important stop than from 1.4 to f2 and then f2 to f2.8. That 1.4 to f2 doesn't make a big difference for me in terms of bokeh. But for this, between something like this, the f2.8, for me at least, I like it more. It's really smooth bokeh. It looks really nice. And speaking of that, the focus distance is pretty much on par, actually, with this. So to give you like a breakdown of the minimum focus, on the 28-70, you can get as close as 25 centimeters, so just a little bit shorter than a ruler, while on the 24-70 f2.8 Mark II, it's 21 centimeters. So that's a 4 centimeter difference in terms of how close you can focus. Now, on the 70mm range for both of them, it's 30 centimeters, so they're actually on par. And for a lens of this size, and f2 to be able to get that close is amazing. That's just fantastic, guys. I really love that. So if you want to get really close up, you actually can. You can get those nice detail shots really, really good with a lens like this, which is amazing. I'm super happy and stoked about that. And like I said, this lens has literally lived on my body and I absolutely love it. Speaking of which, I wanted to talk about my trip to the Philippines. So I recently went to the Philippines and I took the A7C Mark II, I took the 28-70 f2, and I also took the 16-35 f2.8 Mark II. Guys, I really thought I'd be using the 16-35, but believe it or not, the 28-70 did not leave my camera for the entire 10 days that I was in the Philippines, guys, and I loved it. Like, in simple terms, look, honestly, I was like, you know what, let me take it, let me test it. If it gets heavy, whatever, I'll replace it. It stayed on my lens the entire 10 days, and I got amazing shots, photos, videos, as you can see, of all the places I traveled to in the Philippines, and the footage is just beautiful, guys. That f2 is something now that I can't live without. And it's one of the reasons I've put that 24-70 aside, because I just love how the bokeh and the rendering looks with this lens on f2. It was just awesome. And like I said, 930 grams is not a super heavy lens for a beautiful lens of this size. So I'm super happy. The Philippines trip was amazing and I got really, really good shots. And like I said, this lens literally lived on my body the whole time. And I think moving forward, it will be my main travel lens and workhorse lens for everything moving forward, because it really is such a versatile, amazing lens, even for low light situations. And I would even say this is an amazing run and gun doco style lens, because you have that focal length of 28 all the way to 70, and you have the f2 as well. So if you have a low light situations where you need it, or you want to get that creamy bokeh, you can do it with this lens. So yeah, this lens literally lived on the A7C II the whole trip, and I'm so happy I got it just before I went. It was actually my plan was to get this lens before I went to the Philippines. I did, and I don't regret it at all. It's an amazing lens, an awesome investment, and it's already paid for itself. So super happy with it. No regrets there. Now, are there some downsides? Sure, of course there is. And let's talk about them, and then we'll get back to the good stuff. For me, the biggest downside is, look, one of my favorite cameras at the moment is the Sony a7C II. I've obviously got the FX3 as well, but I have two Sony a7C IIs. And the thing is, when you go to 4K 50, there's the crop. So it goes to 42 to 105 from that 28-70, because obviously it's a 1.5 times crop. Then it gets a little bit tight when you need a little bit more space. But then again, sometimes you think 4mm difference from the 24 to 28, it can make a difference. But for the most part, if I'm shooting 4K 25 or 4K 50 on an FX3, I really haven't missed the 4mm that much as I thought. Initially, I thought I'll never buy the 28-70. I wish it was a 24-70 f2. However, that 24, the 28, sorry, has actually kind of come in clutch. I'm really, really enjoying it. And I haven't really missed the 24mm for the most part. I find 28 still relatively wide, and when I need to go wider, I've got something like this, the 16-35 f2.8, which I'm really, really happy with. So I haven't really missed the 4mm that much. I still have the 24-70 in my kit. I just haven't used that at all, to be honest, since I've bought this lens, which is kind of crazy for me because I do like that minimal setup. So that tells a lot about this lens. Now we'll quickly briefly talk about the autofocus because there's not a whole lot to talk about. The autofocus is fantastic, guys. There's nothing to say about it at all. It's super fast, it's snappy, it locks on, and it's really good. Also, it's really quiet, which is just fantastic. Now I want to talk about the image stabilization. Obviously, these G Master lenses don't have image stabilization, and that's one thing I really wish would be added on this. That would make it almost a perfect lens for me. Now, obviously, on the FX3, the A7C II, you have IBIS, the in-body stabilization. I just wish it was on the lenses as well. I don't know why it's not on the GM lenses. Maybe we'll make it bigger, but boy, that would be nice, especially for run and gun. So far, it works pretty well with the IBIS, but for you guys that might have like the FX6, for example, and having no image stabilization, that's going to suck. It will definitely suck. It's not going to be great. And that's one thing I really wish was on this. But again, you can't have everything, I guess. So it's not the end of the world, but I really wish it would be there. I really do. Now, I've been speaking about video. I want to talk a little bit more about the photos. The photos out of this lens, chef's kiss, guys. It is honestly beautiful. The way it renders the bokeh, the smoothness, the sharpness. It's honestly perfect in my opinion, or as close as it's going to get. I like to shoot a lot at f2 now, especially in low light, and having the ability to shoot at f2 has been incredible. And speaking of that, I actually want to talk about the fact that I had two primes. I had the 35mm and the 50mm f1.4 G Master lenses. Now, I'm not a big prime shooter, but I really did enjoy these for the f1.4. Guys, I can tell you, when I bought this lens, I didn't think twice. I put the 35 and the 50 on the market and sold them right away. This, for me, personally, in my opinion, is a prime killer. 100% hands down for me. Why? Because you get three focal lengths, like 28, 35, 50, and 70. Let's say four focal lengths in one lens at f2. Guys, it's a no-brainer. So I sold them right away. I didn't think twice. Look, you got to remember as well, I'm a hybrid shooter, okay? So for a photographer, primes might be more important or more valuable. But for me, as a run and gun hybrid shooter that does photo and video, having the 28-70 that shoots at f2 and I get four focal lengths in one lens, I'll take that any day of the week. So it was so easy for me to get rid of them, and I don't miss the f1.4 at all. f2 for me seems like the perfect balance between the 1.4 and the 2.8. f2.8 I find sometimes, especially in low light, it doesn't get enough light in, while f1.4 sometimes is a little bit too much. It's nice for portraits and whatnot, but sometimes it can be overkill. f2 seems like a really solid sweet spot for me, which I've really enjoyed. So I've really happy that I sold those primes and got this. It was a no-brainer. I actually kept my primes initially, and I was like, let me just see how I feel. I was initially gonna add them in the review, but I was just so keen to get rid of them at this point when I bought this that I'm like, I'm not even gonna keep them. So I just got rid of them, and this has lived on my camera ever since. So that's a big deal for me. But yeah, in terms of photos, I've been using this for landscapes, portraits, events. It's good for everything, weddings as well. I found it so good to use, so easy. Again, 930 grams, less than a kilo. It's not super heavy, guys. It's not something that's going to feel overwhelming to carry all day. It looks big. It looks kind of scary. And that's a thing, like if you're going to do street photography or anything like that, it is noticeable. It's a big lens, let's be honest. But when you take it out, it's not as heavy as you may think. When I've given it to people to hold, they're like, oh, wow, this doesn't actually feel that heavy. It kind of feels light. And I know when I was watching the reviews initially, I'm like, guys, like they keep saying it's not that heavy, but it looks big. It's actually really not. Like I said, if you have the 24-70 GM, the original one, it's about the same weight. It's just 30 grams heavier. So if you're used to that, or if you still have that, it's technically the same lens, only a little bit girthier now. That's really it. But overall, it's been an incredible lens, and there's no chance I'm gonna sell it. I absolutely love this lens. I got the 5-year warranty on it, and I'm gonna use it for everything moving forward. Now, I guess the most important question, is it worth it? Is it worth getting the 28 to 70, which right now, looking online, it's going for about 3,900 Australian dollars. It depends. I don't wanna say yes, I don't wanna say no. It depends on your situation, and let me put it to you like this. If you're someone that uses primes, let's say you got the 24, the 35, the 50, and the 85. You got 4 prime lenses, all f1.4, and you're a photographer. This lens might be the perfect one for you to switch to if you're happy with telephoto. I know a lot of photographers aren't. Personally, for me, I would, because I like the idea of having less lenses, less weight, being able to carry one, and being able to have those 4 focal lengths in one. Would I keep an 85? Absolutely. The 70 f2 is beautiful, but having an 85 1.4 is a no-brainer. It's a must. But for me, the 50, the 35, and the 24 f1.4, this for me easily replaces it. No issue at all. Now, it is an expensive lens. Again, it is a little bit more weight than something like this one right here, which is the 24 to 70 f2.8 Mark II. This is a much lighter lens. I think it's around 650 grams, and you do notice it. It's great. It's honestly fantastic. This 28 to 70 is just like a bigger brother of this lens. It's almost identical. It's weather sealed. It's got all the GM features. It's amazing. It depends on you, but it is overly expensive than something like the 24 to 70, which is about, I think, $2,500, $2,200. It's a lot cheaper, but it depends as well if you need the f2, because in my honest opinion, with my overall experience of this lens for the last couple of months, I would say the only main difference for me that I've noticed, and this is without pixel peeping, just in general, is that the image quality is pretty much identical to the 24 to 70 GM2, with the only main difference being you're getting an f2 instead of an f2.8. That's what you're really paying that extra cash for, that got money lens cash. It is for that f2 over the f2.8, in my honest opinion. That's the main difference that I've noticed. But I will say that I've really enjoyed taking this lens out and using it overall. It's been a really fun experience, and I haven't regretted it at all. Speaking of that, my final thoughts about the weight is that I find that it's back heavy. So it actually sits really well on something like the A7C Mark II. Even though that's a small camera, it sits really well because it's not front heavy, it's actually back heavy. So I can comfortably put it on, and I can use even one hand to shoot with it, no problem. Even on the FX3, it sits really nicely being heavier on the back end than the front end. So that's something I really do appreciate. Now, this lens isn't for people that love their primes. This isn't going to replace the f1.4 for the people that do shoot on f1.4 or f1.2. Definitely not. For you guys, I'd probably say skip this lens. For me, someone who loves to use zoom lenses because I'm a hybrid shooter, this is a must. So if you're a videographer or a hybrid shooter, someone who does love using telephoto lenses, in my honest opinion, this is definitely worth grabbing. It is a little bit pricey, but again, you get 4 focal lengths in one lens. I love it. I'm going to keep the 24 to 70 for the moment, but like I said, I haven't really had a use case for it. For the most part, I use this with the 16 to 35, and I found that that's perfect. But honestly, it's a fantastic lens, and you won't regret it if you do get it. In my opinion, this is one of Sony's best lenses that have come out in a long time. It's just because it's an f2 for its size, its weight, and overall quality. I think it is a fantastic lens, and it's by far now my new favorite lens, by far. It doesn't even come close. The f2 is so nice to have, guys, and as you'll see from the photos and videos that I've been showing throughout the video, a lot of it is shot wide open. It is a fantastic lens. It renders the photos, the video, everything really well. The bokeh is beautiful, it's buttery, and I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. Overall, it's an amazing lens, and I can't recommend it enough. Anyway, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe and be well.